Jake here with TrendSpider to do our second video of the weekend analysis, and what we can see here is a little different from what we were looking at on SPY. For QQQ, we can kind of see this megaphone channel forming, and essentially this is the weekly candle support, this is the weekly candle resistance, and it's kind of capturing all the most recent price action. And so with QQQ as well, we've had a huge move up. Now the thing about the Qs is essentially we really did not get to the SMA, the weekly SMA 20 like we did on SPY. Now this buffer area that we have on the SMA 20 does show almost a perfect kind of touch of the last three tops, and so we are kind of getting close to that area again. A couple things to note right off the bat: even though we were moving up on decreasing volume here, we have started to see an uptick in volume as well at higher price levels, so that is something to definitely keep in mind. And with the vortex indicator, the QQQ ETF does respond a little better to these big divergences between the VI plus and the VI negative. And so we can see here when we had a big divergence here, we did have a pretty hard pullback. And the thing is we are essentially looking at divergence based on this like 1.25 threshold. So anytime that the blue or the VI positive gets to this threshold, that has been a general area of a little bit of a move up and then a huge move down. So not saying that's going to happen here, but we are seeing that divergence at this threshold. This is naturally the resistance area above this weekly SMA 20 with the alert on it. So we could easily move up a little bit here. This is natural resistance and then possibly the pullback. This is simply just an assumption based on what we're seeing here and based on past moves. Please remember, we're just a charting platform. We do not do any advising or trade ideas, but this is an interesting chart to watch into next week. Same thing with the RSI as we saw with SPY. We are slowly starting to creep up here, which has this general area around 60 to 62 has been an area of a reversal in the past. Here, right when we started this big move down in October, once again here, when we topped out right at the SMA 20, right here, same thing, topped out right below the SMA 20, and now we are right here again. But notice that the RSI does have more room to move up if momentum continues. Now, the percent range, same thing. We always see the percent range moving up before the RSI just because this is a little bit of a faster indicator and shows momentum before RSI does. And so we are overbought here, but we've been overbought really since the move up around 156 and have continued higher. So, I mean, the market just can't keep going up forever. There's always going to be little pullbacks for profit takers. But all in all, if we can break through this SMA 20 from the weekly chart, this could be very interesting going into the first half of 2019. Now, there's a lot of economic kind of uncertainty going on. China had some GDP data that came out recently talking about this is the slowest the economy's grown since 1990. So these are all things that could easily kind of be, I don't want to say black swan events, but these are outside variables that could easily affect the U.S. markets. Even though that there's not much going on in the U.S. markets, you always have to pay attention to what could move the market internationally. So all in all, this is looking pretty much similar to SPY, with the weekly SMA 20 acting as quote-unquote the wall that the stock market needs to worry about. And we'll just have to see if we break through this level. So thank you so much for listening in. If you have any questions on setting alerts on any trend lines, indicators, or anything like that, please feel free to reach out and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Have a great Martin Luther King Day, and we'll see you later this week.